Hello, this is Homeopathy Nook for Wednesday, November 13th, and we're going to talk about the usefulness of remedies and how people prescribe. Kopiker says, and this is all from Kopiker's 70 years of clinical experience, he says 3 things decide the frequency of use and usefulness of the remedies that we use. The first is our familiarity with a drug. How many mothers have seen belladonna or gelsemium work like a charm on their child and then used it over and over again for different things, and it works? The more we know of it, the more we use it, and more commonly it becomes indicated. So there's a bias here. We are familiar with it, and we know what it does. We know it has worked in that person before, and therefore we keep reusing it. The second is the type of our practice or the variety of cases coming to us. If you get boils, carbuncles, from, spider bites or whatever, in a bunch of people who come through your door, and Tarantula cubensis worked once, you give it a second time, it works a second time, and some combination of cubensis and gunpowder, say, worked. Then you do it a third time, and pretty much you're a pro at telling what those boils look like and what the remedy should be. So it very much depends on the kinds of things that happen to us, to our family members, to our pets. And the third is the seasonal and epidemic use. And when this epidemic that happened in the last 3 or 4 years happened, swept through the world, there were certain remedies that worked, and homeopaths quickly shared them. And one of them, folks, was phosphorus, and it worked in so many cases that I recommended remedies on, where people had very low SpO2s, and within 1 or 2 doses, you would see the dose going up. The SpO2 oxygen levels going up. It was miraculous and magical, and that encouraged me to give it more, especially when the illness got chesty. And so those are the 3 things that decide the frequency and use. If it's an epidemic, you know it's worked for one person, you apply it, it works for the next person. Pretty soon everybody's using it. Say arsenicum album that the Indian government recommended, or phosphorus that so many homeopaths used when the infection went to the lungs, or when the illness went to the lungs. And then the second part is, the more we know about it, the more we are likely to use that remedy. He says, let me take up the first type of usefulness. Though I know the indications of Drosera quite well, it was only after starting to use it more that I could find more and more uses for it. So when you use something, you find out whether it works or not. And you know precisely how it works, and you fine-tune it, and you get better at it. The number of prescriptions and their percentage increase year by year. For example, for him, Drosera and tuberculinum work much better and quicker in those cases where I had previously been giving Baryta carb in underdeveloped children. In bone troubles and in joint inflammations, where I was trying Aurum Met and phosphorus, etc., I found a place for Drosera, where there were bone troubles, joint troubles, and inflammations. So instead of using those polycrests, he used a very specific remedy, Drosera, and got good results. That is one aspect. Now suppose you find 6 remedies mentioned as well indicated for a condition. Which do you choose? Which one do you choose? The chance of you picking up a rare remedy is indeed quite small, especially if you repertorize with a major repertory. Take an example of boils. Most people use belladonna, Merxol, Heparsalt, Cilicia for boils. The chance of you using Myristica Sebifera or Tarantula cubensis is very little, but try it. It might work. Now, due to some reasons or indications, we use Tarantula cubensis, and we find a dramatic result. This stamps itself into our memory. With one family member it's worked, we use it with all family members, and it works. We almost wait for another case to try it, and so we find ourselves tempted to use it more and more. And it does not disappoint. We can spot tarantula where other homeopaths would clearly miss it, Myristica also is a similar remedy, a lot like Hepar Sulph, that is underused. I am telling this from my actual experience. So he's used Tarantula cubensis and Myristica with great success in boils. No doubt all of you know that digitalis has indications for jaundice and is also a good remedy for prostate enlargement. But it is only if you have used it and found some brilliant effect that you make it your favorite remedy. In the first 10 years of my practice, I had used digitalis only once for an enlarged prostate and 4 times in jaundice. This is in a 10-year period. Kindly note, not only used, but cured with digitalis. But in the next 10 years, once he had success with digitalis, using it 4 times in the first 10 years, he used it much more frequently. I could use it in 5 cases and about 20 cases respectively. In the last 10 years, digitalis has been used almost in every case at some time or the other, and now it ranks equal to chelidonium and china and jaundice. Those are great liver remedies. And there, where chelidonium and china has been indicated, he has had better success with digitalis and better success, pretty much better success with digitalis. Cocculus is another remedy like that, which became a great favorite by its usefulness. Now for females, leukorrhea, that's white discharges, there used to be a time when he used mainly pulsatilla, calcarb, and creosote. But now he uses cocculus too. It's for women who've been up all night, are exhausted and tired, and their lower parts, their organs, their reproductive organs are just not working as well. And look for leukorrhea in women who are overworked and have been, say, looking after sick people at night. It has worked magic and miracle. And so he has used it way more than others. Does it mean that it is curing cases which legitimately belong to one of the 3 or others? Or that even if other indications are not there, I create the symptoms or imagine them in the patients? No, 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 no. It means that many cases of leukorrhea do have accompanying symptoms or concomitants which are definitely covered by cocculus. He just didn't notice them before. We can elicit these only on inquiry. After you've had success, then you look for those symptoms in the repertoire or materia medica, you find them, and you say, oh boy, it will work because it has worked. Let me say that pulsatilla, calcarb, and creosote are still used by me. It is a question of percentage. As cocculus indicus gets used more and more and more, the others naturally drop their percentages. Hello, Laurie Thompson. And with that, we're going to end Homeopathy Nook for today and leave you to think about using your favorite remedies that have worked for your family over and over again, simply because they have worked in the past and you've learned more about them. The remedies, the rare remedies that we covered today were Drosera and tuberculinum instead of, say, baryta carb or aurum or phosphorus, Myristica and Tarantula cubensis for boils instead of the usual suspects, which are belladonna, merxol, hepar, and silica, which also work, but then you have to use them one after another. And perhaps cubensis, Tarantula cubensis, will work much more dramatically. We've talked about digitalis for not heart disease, but jaundice and prostate enlargement and retention of urine, etc., in lieu of liver troubles where we gave mainly chelidonium or china in the past. And for women's white discharges, we're talking about cocculus in lieu of pulsatilla, calcarb, and creosote that we might have had indicated by using a more general repertoire. So that's Homeopathy Nook for today. Enjoy thinking and noodling over these remedies. Read up their descriptions in Materia Medica and get them. Get them in a 200 potency. You cannot go wrong buying a $5-10 remedy that might keep you out of ER out of the arms of allopathic medicine, which has more side effects than main effects, and make you spiritually, mentally, psychically, and physically more independent of our pretty much rotted, I would say, and corrupted healthcare system today. Good luck and God bless.